Hey, morning all. Just having a cup of coffee. And I thought it'd be good to have a chat about just the Cotter Pin. It's a book that I've just published, available ebook, paperback. But I want to have a talk about it because I've also got my author's copies that I've dropped a couple of copies off to a few people and bits and bobs. But as soon as you mentioned that it's been written using AI, because we're very open and transparent about it, it even says in the book. But I wanted people to understand that this book took me probably almost 5 years to write. So it hasn't just appeared overnight. This book started as a journal of my own business that I started, which was Mercury Bay Hives. I wanted to record the good, the awesome, the wonderful, the bad, the miserable. So I actually started a journal, and I started that journal on ChatGPT. And then eventually, 4 years later, unfortunately my business fell over. Had to close the door, had to put it into voluntary liquidation. There was just no point carrying on. We couldn't find anybody to partner with us that could see the same vision that I could see with it. And then after my business closed, you go through a stage as a business owner, blaming yourself. It's quite an emotional roller coaster, not just having a business, but when you make that decision to close the door, it's a huge emotional roller coaster. You feel like you let down your entire community, your family, your friends, the people that were involved in helping you. So, I was having trouble, and then all of a sudden in the media, we started getting all these reports of all these businesses closing, going to liquidation, being shut down by RD in New Zealand here, and it's been phenomenal, and it hasn't stopped. It's still going now, and it's still, every time I see an article in the media at the moment, I really do have a tear for those business owners because it's just not easy. So then I thought, I want to write a paper about why a business in New Zealand is struggling so much at the moment. What is the actual cause? Look through the systems, look through everything, just to find out what it was. And that's what I started writing, was that paper. And I actually just finished that the other day. And during that, with ChatGPT, I was going through my old journal. And, because you blame yourself, you blame a lot of things, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is your fault, you're the owner of that business. But I was going through that journal. And then, as part of my research, I started timelining everything. And then, with ChatGPT, I started to get annoyed with it because it started hallucinating, it started doing things that I didn't want to do. So I ended up writing all these rules with ChatGPT of what I wanted, what I didn't want, and it was quite intense, and I didn't realise what I was doing at the time, but I wanted a clear picture. I wanted it to be absolutely factual on what I was writing. I didn't want crap in there. And then I got halfway through writing the paper, and it had become quite a dialogue of collaboration between me and AI, and it was to the point where it wasn't hallucinating. I was going back through my own journal, was reflecting back things that I'd said. And it sounds a bit crazy, but it probably is. We argued. We both found points that neither of us understood, so I did more research. And that's how Just the Cotter Pin started. It was from that. So, it's not a ghostwritten book. It took a long time to write this. It's not put a prompt into an AI and here's a book, because that's not how it worked. There is hours and hours and days and months of work put into this book, and it's I'm absolutely chuffed with it. I hope people really do enjoy it. It covers a lot. It covers everything from me personally to the business that I had, to community. You know, community is the biggest one of my things. So if we go to chapter 12, which is my favourite chapter in the book. There's an old saying, behind every good man is a stronger woman. Whether you agree with the wording or not, I've always believed the sentiment points towards something much bigger. Very few people achieve anything worthwhile entirely on their own. Businesses aren't built by one person. Families aren't built by one person. Communities aren't built by one person. Nations are not built by one person. Behind every success is usually a long list of people whose names readily appear in a story. Parents, teachers, mentors, customers, workmates, friends, staff, neighbours, people who believed in us, people who challenged us, people who invested a little of themselves into someone else's future. If I'm honest, asking for help has never come naturally to me. I grew up on a dairy farm. You fell over, you swore, you got back up, you got on with it. The mindset taught me resilience. It taught me responsibility. It taught me to solve problems instead of waiting for someone else to solve them. But it also taught me to carry more on my own shoulders than I probably needed to. As I've grown older, I've realised something. Resilience isn't about doing everything alone. Sometimes it's about recognising that someone else's experience can stop you making the same mistakes you already have. Looking back now, I realise there have been people quietly shaping my journey all along. And I'm going to stop it there because it goes through. And I've discovered that people don't really like really long videos, so I'm going to stop it there. But chapter 12 is my most favourite chapter in this entire book. I love the whole book, but chapter 12 is really good. But community is a big focus of my book. Please read it. I think you'll love it. Everybody that has read it so far, through my own network, you know, they've come back, they've loved it. It's made them question a lot of things. Yeah, just the Cotter Pin. Read it. And then part 2, I'm going to do how just the Cotter Pin helped me form the Atlas. Because the books that I've written, and I haven't released the second book yet, but this is the first one, really is the reason that I started the Atlas Workshop is because of 2 books. Cool. See you later. I'm going to finish my coffee.